Welcome to Quantum Revenue Expansion, where we share time-tested strategies to turn your annual revenue into your monthly revenue. Ready to up-level your business and your life? Then you will love listening in on the lively conversations Ursula has with her clients and guests as they share exactly what they did to grow and scale their business exponentially. Plus, you will discover how to experience more freedom, joy, and peace in your business and your life right now. If turning your annual income into your monthly income is your next step, then join us at the next 2X Intensive. Go to ursulainc.co/apply.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Quantum Revenue Expansion, the podcast where we talk about turning your annual revenue into your monthly revenue. I hope this year is kicking off to a great start for you and that you're excited about the new year and that all that is to come. I was talking with Rebecca Hall, one of the master coaches at Ursula Inc., and we were chatting about how in 2020, go back to 2020. I'm laughing. It's really not funny, but go back to 2020 when at the beginning of that year, we were all like, this is going to be the best year ever in business and we're going to crush it. And then everything came to a screeching halt, right? And since then, it's just been kind of weird, right? Like 2021 was like easing back out, and then 2022 was better, but a fast year. And then 2023 was good. It was an interesting year as well. I'll be telling more stories about 2023. We're not there yet, but interesting year. Anyway, so we're starting 2024 and we're like so excited about it. And then we were kind of laughing about going back to 2020. I think it's going to be different though. Like everything I'm reading, everything I'm seeing, says 2024 is going to be different. In the US, it's an election year, so that makes it extra interesting. But here's the thing, like no matter what, right? No matter what, when you look back at your time in business, the truth is that you got to create how you wanted your year to be. Whether you were consciously creating it or not, you are the creator of your year, because whatever we create is based on our beliefs, whether it's our core beliefs of, do I believe I'm enough? Am I lovable? Right? Like all those core beliefs that can keep us stuck. Or limiting beliefs like money doesn't grow on trees, or I can't, I'm not that person, so I can't have that kind of business, right? So anyway, like you get to choose. And so that's why I decided to do this show today. And our topic is how to knock out your number one limiting belief about closing the sale. How to knock out your number one limiting belief about closing the sale. And I chose that because it's one of those kind of linchpins in the business that if you don't feel comfortable closing a sale, can keep you stuck. And it's come up in a lot of the conversations with our clients and with Rebecca and I, like we talk about this a lot, where it's that one piece that we need to push through. But if we don't, we just leave thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars in business on the table. And so I thought, you know what, I want to talk about that. In fact, this year, a couple things about this year. One, you're going to be getting more content. That's my commitment. You're going to be getting more content through the podcast. Come and hang out with us. There's going to be more content on Instagram, more content in all the places. My intention is to help as many business owners as possible really grow their revenue so that you can live an amazing life and give back to the organizations you care about and really serve your clients, your customers at the highest level. So it's all of those things. So I'm super committed to that. And over the holidays, I hope you had a great holiday break, by the way. Over the holidays, I was thinking a lot about you, our listeners, and just like what would really serve you. And I think back to what would have served me when I started my business and when I was, feeling stuck in my business at different times. And so I really do hope that the content we put out this year serves you at the highest level. One of the things, I have a new marketing team, different marketing people that I'm working with all the time, right? It feels like different people bringing different things to the table. And as the business has grown, we have, different marketing companies that are involved in supporting us. Anyway, I was talking to one of our marketing team members, Amber, shout out to Amber if she listens to this. She's been amazing. And one of the things Amber said to me, she's like, she goes, your content looks great. Like your social media looks great. She goes, but everything looks a little too great. And I was like, what? What does that even mean? By the way, this has nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about today. I said, what does that mean, Amber? And she's like, well, she said, your videos are really buttoned up. Everything looks really good. And what's hilarious to me about that is I feel like I've spent my whole business career trying to get my stuff to look right. And this is also a shout out to Cassandra, who's on our team, who is so good, like such a magician at social media and video and just, all the things. And then Joe as well. Like we just have this incredible team. And of course, shout out to Trisha, who holds it all together in the background, right? We just have this amazing team. Anyway, though, I'm thinking about what Amber said, and she's right. She's so right. And I know as a business owner, when people tell me things and that I'm kind of resistant to it at first, I'm like, yeah, but we work so hard to get our stuff to look right. And we do all these videos and, we edit and we do all this stuff. Although I will say that this podcast has never been very edited, just for the record. It's been slightly edited, like if the dog is barking, but even that, I think I should start to leave that in. But her point was this is Amber's point. And again, has nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about today, which is the reason I'm sharing it. It's because I don't want our marketing to be perfect. I don't want our podcast to be perfect. I don't want you to think that we don't work our butts off behind the scenes, that we don't struggle. I will say 2023 personally for me was a big struggle. More to come on that, like more to come, like more will be revealed on that. But I'm saying that because I don't want you to think we have it all together or all figured out. Like having a business is about figuring it out as you go. It's also about personal growth as you go, right? Like it's about who you have to become to run a business. And so I'm saying all of this because Amber is super right. And on the podcast and other places where I'm going to be hanging out this year, I think you've always seen the real me, but I hope you see the real me, the flawed me, the one that doesn't have it all together, the one who has personal struggles, the one who, in spite of all the things that might go on behind the scenes, still runs a business, because that's what we do, right? Like we are business owners who, no matter what's going on in the world, the bigger world, our world, like we're human, and I don't want to paint a perfect facade because that's not my life. Do I have a great life? Yes, I do. Because I've intentionally created that life. Have I struggled at times? Yeah. Did I have a great childhood? No. Most people didn't. I had a very interesting childhood. You can read some of my books. It's in there. So please know that wherever you are right now in your business and in your life, it's all perfect. It's all fine. Like sometimes just saying, I am where I am. Great. Now, what do you want to change? Or what do you want to shift? Or what do you want to create? Or how do you want to feel? Or how do you want to operate? And then you can look at the next piece. So I'm saying all that for one, because I don't want my podcast to be perfectly aligned every time and like, la, la, la. I am going to talk about what I said I was going to talk about, but I also don't want you to think that, that we have this perfectly produced show behind the scenes. It's not. I don't want it to be perfect. I don't. I want you to see the struggles, the challenges. And I think I've shared those in the past, but Amber brought up a great point. And so as we take this journey through 2024 together, I'm looking forward to you hanging out with me and sharing all the things and sharing the things that we've struggled with. And I will tell you that the topic today, how to knock out your number one limiting belief about closing the sale, was my first struggle in business, like to the core struggle. And I say that because it's also what put me on this journey. If I would have loved selling, right? If I would have loved selling from the beginning, if it would have been easy for me, if I would have just figured it out right away, I never would have taught this. I never would have probably chosen the self-development industry, right? I never, none of that would have occurred to me because it would have just been easy. I'd probably still be working for someone else, right? Growing their business and their dream. So that's that's why I wanted to start with this limiting belief. And we're going to play with this more throughout the year, because if there's anything that I've learned over the years is that limiting beliefs and core beliefs, they keep us stuck. They keep us stuck in such a frustrating way, right? And this is where, and I want you to hear this is where you can look at somebody else and be like, how are they easily closing the sale, or how are they getting those results, right? When you look at someone and you're not even envious, you're just like frustrated. You're like, I know like our product and service is just as good as theirs, if not better, right? Like in your mind, right? Like you got to believe in your stuff. Like, that you should be killing it and you're not. Why? Like, why? Why aren't I closing more sales? Well, that is your subconscious mind keeping you safe, which logically, consciously doesn't make any sense at all, right? You're like, well, why would my subconscious mind do that? Like, I mean, it serves me to close more sales. It maybe, but your subconscious mind's job is to keep you safe and comfortable, right? And safe and comfortable means that I don't want to follow up with a prospect 5 times. Safe and comfortable means I just want to sit in my chair and get emails and have the sales be closed. Safe and comfortable means I don't want to be visible, on a webinar, or at the end of a webinar, I don't want to have to talk about the sale, like what I'm offering. That is what our subconscious mind is doing. So you can thank your subconscious mind. It's there. It's there to keep you safe. It did a great job of that, like back in the day when we had to stay safe from things like, lions and tigers and bears. It still keeps you safe, like when you're out walking at night and maybe all of a sudden you're kind of like, oh, this kind of doesn't seem like the best area, or I just feel like someone's following me, or I feel like something's off, right? That's that part of you keeping you safe. Where it doesn't serve you, though, is here, where it's like it's time to close the sale, but there's something that just blocks me or stops me from taking that next step. And it's making me think about a client who, like that, oh my gosh, kept this limiting belief. And there was more there too, right? Because I think if you have a limiting belief about closing the sale, you probably have some limiting beliefs about increasing your prices, charging too much, some of those things as well. So that can kind of just keep you stuck, right? So anyway, this client had averaged about $50,000 a year in revenue when they arrived in our world, and had been there for a long time. And there were 2 limiting beliefs. One was about pricing and increasing prices. And I actually think I might have to do a whole podcast on increasing prices. In fact, I'm going to put that in my notes. I do have notes, by the way. When I do a podcast, I have notes. So this particular client had a lot of fear around raising their prices. And the belief was, if I raise my prices, people will go away. Okay. So there was that. And then there was this other piece of, but I don't want to follow up. Or if I follow up, too many times, they're going to think I'm pushy. They're going to think I'm salesy. If I ask for the sale, they're going to think, like all of those pieces. And that belief, that limiting belief, especially about the follow-up part, kept this client stuck. I don't know, like 20 years, I think, 15 to 20 years. And if you just do a little bit of math, this is my 3rd grade math here. Maybe it's 2nd grade math. Maybe it's 1st grade math. Hard for me to do in my head, apparently. Like it's hundreds of thousands of dollars left on the table. I would say actually millions, given the quantum leap this client has taken. Millions of dollars just left on the table. So this is why you do want to dive into this work, because when you dive into this work and you start to release your limiting beliefs and you start to get out of your own way, the money is there. The money's always been there. But when you have limited beliefs and you stop yourself in the sales process, the money can't come to you because the prospects are just going to go somewhere else. They're going to go somewhere else. They're going to probably go to that competitor that you're like, I mean, if it is a competitor, I mean, I know people are like, there's no competitors. Well, whoever, if they're going to go to another business that's like yours and spend their money there instead of with you, that's a problem, right? That's a real stinker. So that's why this work is so important, because I want you to feel into the amount of money that you've left on the table, so to speak, that you've left just sitting out there. Like, imagine the hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars that have just been left out there because you haven't followed up, right? Or you haven't asked for the sale, or you just haven't closed the sale for whatever reason, okay? And the reason I want you to look at that is because when we don't change, you're not going to change until it's painful enough. Okay. You might listen to this podcast and be like, oh, that's great, Ursula. And then you're going to forget about what we talked about here. I don't want you to do that. I want you right now in this moment to dig into the pain of the amount of money that you've just left on the table, the amount of money that's just out there that could be yours. And by the way, if this is something you really want support with, come to the 2X Intensive and hang out with us. That is where our clients have massive breakthroughs in their thinking, in their business model, in their revenue model, in how much they're charging, in all the things I'm talking about, in their beliefs, like all those things. The 2X Intensive information is in the show notes. You can click on the apply button. You just apply. You just send your information in to apply for the 2X Intensive, and we'll get you all the details. Our podcast guests receive the most incredible packages when you come to the 2X Intensive. So just know that you'll get a special package. So fill out the application. If you just want to know more or you want to email us too, you can always email us at contact@ursulainc.co or email me directly, ursula@ursulainc.co. Happy to connect with you there, because this is the year that I want you to make that breakthrough. So playing with this belief of, about not closing the sale. So let's look at that for a moment. Why do we not close the sale? Why do we not follow up one more time, right? Why do we just stop ourselves? Well, for most of us, it's about how we don't want to be perceived, right? We don't want the prospect to perceive us as being pushy or salesy, right? We want to be liked. And especially, I think, sales and business people, we don't get into business because we're total extreme introverts. Like, we like to connect with people. We want people to like us, especially sales people, right? If you've been in sales before, like, that's your natural inclination. You want people to like you. And so underneath that is this belief, this fear that if I follow up multiple times, they're not going to like me. They're going to think I'm being pushy. Oh, I'm being salesy, right? And because of that belief, you'll stay stuck. You'll just stay stuck. And the question to ask yourself right now is, am I willing to leave millions of dollars on the table? Am I willing to do that? Because hopefully the answer is no. If you're a business owner, like, you got to make money. You got to turn profit. You can't grow the business if you don't have profit, right? And so hopefully the answer is no. I don't want to leave millions of dollars on the table. Excuse me. It's like my little teacup. For those of you on the YouTube, my little teacup with me. It has coffee in it, though. Full disclosure. So, okay. I don't want to leave millions of dollars on the table. Like, if that's the pain and it's painful enough for you in this moment to make the decision that no matter what, you're going to let that go this year, then you're ready for the next step. Okay. Until then, it doesn't really matter. You're not going to take a step. You're just going to be like, I'm good with the status quo. It's too scary. I'm too stuck. I'm too whatever. And that's your choice. That's your choice. I hope, though, my invitation is for you to be like, you know what? No, I'm so over struggling. I'm so over not having enough money in the company. I'm just over not being able to hire people. I'm over not being able to give money away. Like, I'm over all of that. Like, when you get frustrated enough and you're just over it, that's when you're willing to change. When it's more painful to stay where you are than it is to make the shift, that's when you'll make the change. So let me tell you, this client who'd been stuck, at $50,000 a year for forever. Came to the 2X intensive. She also joined the CEO table. She made the decision. Now, do the math there. She wasn't making a ton of money, right? She made the investment in herself. She made the investment. She made the leap. And she didn't have any outside support. None. Didn't have a significant other to say, yeah, go do that. Like, she's on her own, did it. And a mom, by the way, and a mom. So if she can make that shift, so can you. So can you. So she did. She made the shift. She dove in. At the end of this year, she already has $300,000 in contracts lined up for next year. Now, if I do my math, that's a 50,000 times 6. That's a 6x increase. She's sitting on $1 million business. She knows that now. 7 figures, right? It's going to be a 7-figure business. It is a 7-figure business. She now knows her value. She now knows that when she's following up with clients, she's serving them, not being pushy. She knows now that she really knows she can do anything. She knows she can do anything. And it's one of the things I love about business. And I've always said this, business is the biggest personal development journey you're ever going to go on. The biggest personal development journey ever. And because it's changed your whole life. A lot of people ask me, they're like, are you a business coach? It's like, no. I'm into transformation, not just of your business, but of your life, of everything. I'm into who do you want to become? Who are you being called to? Because this business that this client's doing is probably not the last business she's going to do. She's already being called to do other things. She's going to grow this business. Maybe she'll sell it. We have a lot of clients showing up in our world now who are growing their businesses and selling them and doing the next thing, whatever that is that they're called to do. Because now they know they have a core belief that they can do this. They've let go of their limiting beliefs about what they couldn't do, right? And if you've been hanging out with me for a while, then I want that for you too. There's a reason you're here. Some of you, and it's so strange sometimes, when I'm talking to you because I can't see you, but I can feel you. And I can feel the pain of not living the life that you're destined for, that you're here for. I can feel the pain of not having enough money and struggling. I can feel that through the waves. And I know that's why I'm doing this podcast. I know that's why this podcast ranks really high, higher than I ever could have imagined. We're in the top 2.5% of podcasts in the world. It's because of listeners like you, because you keep showing up, because you want more. You're destined for more, and I want more for you. And so, my invitation is stick with us. And also come and hang out with us. Come and hang out at the next 2X intensive. Come and hang out with us. Because it will change your world. And if you need a payment plan, we'll figure it out. Here's the thing to remember. If you want something, the way to get there exists. The money's already there. So if you want to come and hang out with us at the 2X Intensive, it's virtual, by the way. I don't know if I'll ever say that. It's virtual. We have clients come from all over the world. Virtual. Hang out on Zoom. So know that that's there. So to wrap this up, let's shift this belief for you, okay? And this is the belief shift process that I love. It's based in NLP. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. I've brought some other modalities into it. Here's what you do. We've identified the limiting belief. The limiting belief is simply I don't want to be perceived as being pushy. I don't want people to think not like me, right? Being pushy. Don't, all those things, right? So what you want to do next is identify what's not true about that. 3 things. 3 things that aren't true about that. Number 1 is that following up means you're actually serving the client. In fact, when you don't follow up, your prospects think you're unprofessional. Period. End of story. Second, following up is your job. It's what you need to do because it's not about being pushy. It's following up or in the moment asking for the sale, asking for the credit card, asking for the payment until you get one of 3 things. A clear yes, they're in and they're going to pay, and here's how they pay. A clear no, not a fit, that's okay, we figured that out. Or the third thing is to get a next step on the calendar. And if you've hung out with me for a while, you've heard me talk about this, but it's worth repeating because this is so missed. And even with clients who have said this over and over again, they miss it. If you're at the end of a sale and they haven't made a decision, book a next appointment on the calendar. That's all you got to do. Book a next appointment on the calendar. You can talk to them again, figure out like what are their objections or what do they need to know before they can make a decision. You're just coaching them. And that's the third thing to realize is that selling is really coaching someone to make a decision. And then when you do that, you are serving them at the highest level because they get to choose. Because I have a feeling that what you do would make a difference in their business or their lives. And so you're coaching them to make a decision. And if you're the right answer for them, awesome. If you're not, refer them to someone else. In fact, you could say that to someone. You can say that to someone. You know, if I'm not the right fit for you, I'd love to refer you to somebody else. Or here's what I think would be a great next step. Okay. Then the third step. So number one, identify the limiting belief. Number two, look at the three things that are not true. Because when you say that, then the limiting belief just starts to fall away. And then third, ask yourself, what is the new belief I'd like to operate from? And I'm going to make this really easy for you. Here's your new belief. I am, which are two of the most powerful words in the English language because your subconscious mind believes anything you say after that. I am a professionally persistent problem solver. It's my favorite. I am a professionally persistent problem solver. And I can tell you that when our clients take that on at the deepest level, when they take that on, it shifts everything for them. Because all of a sudden they're like, I am a professionally persistent problem solver. I am. I'm not salesy. I'm not pushy. I am a professionally persistent problem solver, and I am making a difference for my clients or my prospects who become my clients. All right, everybody. I hope this was useful. This might be something you want to listen back to, right? Because you can use this process anytime to let a limiting belief go. And again, my commitment to you this year is more content, and we're going to dig into this belief stuff even more because I know it's at the core of what might be holding you back. All right, everybody, that's it. Wishing you your most epic month yet. Oh, I forgot. My team's always like, hey, if you like the show, leave us a review. Leave us a review wherever you listen. There's many different places that you listen. So please leave us a review. It helps other people know how this podcast might be helpful to them as well. All right, everybody. See you soon.
Thank you for joining us today. And if you are ready to make your next quantum leap, let's do it. Ursula invites you to join us at the 2X Intensive. Go to salescoachnow.com/apply. Don't forget to leave us a review on your favorite podcast app.